When we look at the ballet positions for the arms, we've got first position, second position, third position is one arm lifted and the other one out to the side. Fourth position brings the outside arm inward, and in fifth position we gather everything on the top and then we release again into neutral first. Alright, so when we do Oriental, we're not going to stand there doing ballet arms. So how do we use that? What we need to do is we need to see what works well for a specific dance, for a specific movement, and also when you look at your practice work, how are you going to get the most out of the arm work? So what I suggest is practice shimmy with the arm positions. It really works well and it trains your student to be able to focus on two different things at once. So when they've got a nice soft shimmy going, they'll go through first position, from there work into second position. You can keep them working into second position by bringing their arms forward and back. You can add a little bit more difficult level by letting them flick it over. The movement is in, cross at the wrist, bring up, bring through, release. We do that again. In, cross at the wrist, bring up, bring through, and let go. Another variation of that movement is to bring in, cross at the wrist, bring up, and release it down. We do that again. From second position, bring in, cross at the wrist, bring down, and all the way down to the floor. If we're working from a first to fifth position, we can use that as we lift from an 8 movement. So if I am working from side to side and I bring my 8 in, that means I'm going to make the 8 a lot smaller. I will work through my first position, second position, up into first position where I can hold the movement. I can bring the movement down the one side of my arm. Let me show again. I can bring it down the side of my arm like that. Never go with the nose towards this area. It really looks like you're sniffing something that's not supposed to be smelling that bad. Okay, so always think about where your line of your arm is going to travel, and importantly remember to keep the shoulders down. So if we're moving the arm through first, we can use an extended hand to present something to the audience, or we can bring it in. Think about the emotion that we use when we express with our hands. The hands and the arms together with the upper body and the tilt of the neck, the look in the eye, it conveys a message. Now we're going to use more Oriental music and we're going to work with our wrist circles. Your wrist circle will be a down movement coming through the center and presenting out. This is a soft lyrical movement and should not be confused with a florier movement, which is more for tribal dance. Okay, so keep it soft and gentle and use the arms in an outward rotation, not an inward rotation. Alright, when we use the shoulder roll, what you want to do is you want to maintain the softness in your knees, the bounciness, because this is Egyptian Oriental. We are soft, we're smooth, we're bouncy, and we've got a whole lot of control and isolation on top of that. Relax the arms down, because if you keep in a second position the whole time, things get really tight and sore. So keep it nice and relaxed. So now we're going to just rock from side to side, and this is going to turn into a figure 8 later. So we're going to push it forward and back and forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. From there, lift and back and lift and back and lift and back and lift and back. So remember, it's all good to move from side to side and to work through the feet instead of gripping the feet to the floor. Okay? So we're going to do it again. Forward and back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. Now we add the rotation. 1 and back, lift and back, lift and back, lift and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Add the arms. You're not going to do anything with your arm on top. You're only going to roll the shoulder. And what happens? The arm is instinctively going to move and give you a very nice line. So we move up and through, and up and through, and up and through, and up and through. Bring it down. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. We can do it to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do not get confused with an arm undulation. Alright? This is strictly a shoulder roll. The movement looks like we're doing a lot of arm work. The arm is just relaxing on top of the movement. Alright? Like I was saying, don't confuse a shoulder roll with an arm undulation. Alright? The difference between the two is with your shoulder roll, if you relax your arm, it will look like your arm is also doing the most beautiful thing while it's actually just resting. Okay? Your shoulder is doing all the work. With our arm, when we do our arm undulation, the arm is doing the work. The shoulder is relaxed. So when I do my arm undulation, I don't use it from the shoulder, I work from my elbow. When we stand, have an imaginary pair of balloons underneath your armpits and then think about them blowing up. What happens? As they blow up, the space will get bigger underneath the arm and my arms will lift automatically. That is a very, very good and easy way. Blow up the balloon and let the balloon go. Now, when I do a proper arm undulation, I will lead with my elbow. The easiest way to remember that is elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. You're going to do that to the other side. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. I'm double jointed and hyperflexible, so my joints work differently. Alright? Don't try and do it exactly like I do. You use your body. Alright? Use your elbow and forearm and wrist and hand the way that your body is put together. Alright? Don't try and get this hyperextension right there. That is my body. Very important to remember. Alright, lastly, when we put the two arms together to make an arm undulation, it works from an outside plane. As this arm comes down, the other one lifts up. That's the mechanic of the movement. Alright? So as the one arm goes down, the other one comes up, and vice versa. The stuff you put in between is what makes the movement so beautiful. So, elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Now we hold it there and then elbow, forearm, wrist, hand. Hold it there. Elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, and then we smooth it out.